Shutdown for stimulus. Hashtag shutdown for stimulus. Viewers of this channel are just sick and tired of congressional leaders wanting to give big money to big business, and it used to be just the Republicans. Now the Democrats are doing it. In the new twist this afternoon, we see now that everything the Democrats claim to aspire to, children going hungry, crush the virus, things like that, language, has to be exactly 600 weeks of FPUC, is no longer the issue. Now the issue is how to do things against Mitch McConnell. It's becoming more about just winning than doing anything that helps millions of Americans. No stimulus checks from the Democrats. No eviction moratoriums for the Democrats. No mortgage forbearance from the Democrats. These are Democratic big ticket items, very critical items that any viewer, whether Republican or Democrat, says absolutely has to be in a budget bill. You can't have eviction moratoriums lapse during the holidays. People will be homeless over the weekend, over January 1st. You can't have mortgage forbearance lapse. People will lose their homes on January 1st. And you can't go without people getting a stimulus check during the holidays. They haven't gotten a stimulus check. They've been waiting for it since March. What are the Democrats doing? Nothing except pandering to big business, now like the Republicans. Hashtag shut down for stimulus. You don't give us stimulus checks, we're shutting it down. Stimulus checks for shutdown, or shutdown for stimulus checks. However you want to choose the hashtag, it's incredible, shocking details. I'm just really floored by the matter. I'm actually speechless, and I'll have what's breaking just minutes ago in this breaking development. It's just news seconds ago on Being a Mitch. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Being a Mitch, our afternoon's recording in which I go over the nuances of what congressionally these people are trying to do to give you a stimulus check, or congressionally trying to do not to give you a stimulus check. Breaking developments minutes ago that is just leaving me shocking, and it's not because of Mitch, who actually today is looking less crazy than everyone else. He's actually being one-upped by the Democrats, who are looking bonkers today. I'll have these details and more, but please subscribe, because ultimately the most important thing that you get during this next 24 to 40 hours is money. And I'm getting viewers money around the clock. $2,400 is not a small sum. I'm getting viewers $20,000, $10,000, $5,000. I'm getting people rent grant, food grants, has escalated benefits for UI and EIDL, which is all thousands of dollars, and at worst, a lot of hundreds of dollars for just a nominal, an entry-level utilities grant. Moreover, I have 9 incredible volunteers of this channel who are stepping up and doing these things around the clock and helping you find things that you may not know of, I may not know of, that are being announced and being shut down or open and closed very quickly. These incredible grants. So this is a community that is here to help you. I'm not here to just read news articles and tell you the Temple of Doom's latest, hairspray. So with that, please subscribe. Also like this video. In this video, I'll be going over a lot of details. And the details really stem from this horrible, horrible bill from yesterday, which Mitch McConnell rejected. Said, I'm not even going to put it for a vote. Don't even waste my time. It's a stimulus bill. It's not a CR. It's a stimulus bill. Suddenly, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer late today said, you know what? We're going to throw away Chuck Schumer's memo of 2 hours earlier to put stimulus into the CR, and we're now supporting this junk stimulus bill, standalone stimulus bill, from yesterday. Confusing? Very confusing. But what's very shocking is it has nothing that any Democrat ever prescribes to say they want to give you. No stimulus checks, no eviction moratoriums, no mortgage forbearance, no money for children, no stimulus checks for children, no stimulus checks for you. Everything that they said they want to ensure that you get, they aren't doing. So has this been a big game for them just to throw President Trump out of office? And now that Trump has not been reelected, now they're trying to go after Mitch McConnell by trying to just win something against Mitch McConnell? That's what it sounds like to me. It doesn't sound like there's anything logically being done now except being angry at Mitch McConnell. And ironically, he's not the one to be angry at, because if Mitch McConnell gets stimulus checks, eviction moratorium, and mortgage forbearance in his bill, we're good. We're good to January, and then we'll do a big stimulus bill in January. Let me get to the breaking details. The breaking details as we sit here today is that Mitch McConnell's bill is not outlandish. It simply omitted 3 items: a stimulus check, eviction moratorium, and mortgage forbearance. Get those 3 things into Mitch's budget bill, and we're done. We got something to January. It's very simple. What we're talking about here is a budget bill that is done every 3 months to fund the operations of the federal government. It's called a continuing resolution. It's a budget bill. Instead of continuing resolution, we call it CR because it's easier to say it. The CR has a December 11th deadline. The CR has to be done by December 11th, voted upon and approved by the Senate, voted and approved upon by the House, and voted and approved upon by the President. Otherwise, the government shuts down. Mitch McConnell, for the first time, and this is very good news, is actually going to the White House, speaking face-to-face with the President, and asking the President what he wants in the CR. We don't know still what the President wants. We may still not know today what the President wants, but the communication level is very good. And Mitch McConnell specifically says that ultimately, if you don't do what the President wants, you're going to get a veto and you're not going to get anything. So stop wasting everyone's time. I love when Mitch is direct like that because that's sort of the way I talk. So that's all really good. The only thing that's very ungood, crush the grammar, is that it needs to have a stimulus check in there and it needs to have an eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance. If it has it in there, we're good. We're carried to January, and then in January we get a big stimulus bill. That was the start of the day. Then came chaos. If you don't drink at 9 o'clock in the morning, then you may not appreciate Chuck Schumer's memo that came out earlier today that I covered on Holidays LA because it'll look like a drunk person wrote it. It called for, in this emergency CR, stimulus for 3 years. We need stimulus for 20, 30 days, 60 days. Why are you doing stimulus for 3 years? And then it called for numbers that no one would agree to in July and took those numbers to say, I'm going to do them 300% higher than that. Okay, we already just understood this doesn't work. So why are you just doing this? This is sort of like, a big in your face. Then later today, minutes ago, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer said, forget about Chuck Schumer's bill. Forget about it. We're going to throw out Chuck Schumer's memo or bill or whatever you call that thing. Okay, so what are you going to do then, Chuck and Nancy? Nancy yesterday said, I'm not going to do anything unless there's a stimulus check in there. And over the entire month from July to now, she said, children going hungry, children need food, children need stimulus checks, you need stimulus checks, we need testing, tracing, and you need to do my language. Today she said, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to do that junk bill from yesterday from those moderate 5 people. Excuse me? Excuse me? You're doing what? Did you read the bill? Yeah, I'm just, I can't stand Mitch, so I'm just doing anything to just, in spite of Mitch. Now, she didn't say that last sentence, but that sort of feels like what she's doing. Let's look at this junk bill. Now, let me explain, because this is getting very complicated, as I expect your head is spinning at this point. The thing I'm reading from is not a thing to go into the CR. It's actually a standalone bill. It's actually a standalone stimulus bill. So Nancy and Chuck, as we're sitting here today, are not doing a CR item. They're now saying, we're not putting stimulus in the CR. We're going to do a standalone stimulus bill. Who's going to call for a vote in the Senate? No one's going to. We're putting stimulus in the CR, Nancy. Did you not get the memo about this? So first of all, she's supporting a standalone stimulus bill, not supporting the CR. So I guess she wants the federal government to shut down. Don't ask me to explain that logic because it makes no sense. Stimulus check in there? No. Anything for children? No. Anything for rent? No. You can be homeless and your children are going to go hungry, and Nancy Pelosi will still talk about how she's crushing the virus. So what is in here? Anything for hair? There's nothing for hair, there's nothing for cows, and there's nothing for fish. We're starting good, and it goes south very quickly. $900 billion bill, $908 billion bill. The 8 is for extra hairspray. $300 of FPUC. Excuse me? Nancy Pelosi supporting a $300 a week FPUC bill. At this point, I literally want to get up off the chair that I'm sitting on and throw it out the window. I'm so pissed when I hear that. You know why I'm pissed? Because you know I'm about to do the numbers with you right now. I'm going to tell you why I'm so pissed, but I'm smiling with this biggest grin. Is because Nancy Pelosi rejected Steve Mnuchin's $400 a week FPUC offer in July, which was 20 weeks ago, which would have given you $8,000 to this day. And instead, she wants to have $300 now in December, not retroactive. Larry Kudlow's in the corner laughing because this is even worse than his math. She wants you to start accepting FPUC starting today at $300 a week. After she said, I'm not accepting $400 a week in July, which would have paid you $8,000 by now. They're crazy. There's no other explanation except they're crazy. They are literally bonkers. This makes no sense. Now, if she did $300 FPUC retroactive to late July, maybe, and said, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I should have taken the $400. I made a mistake. I cost you $100 a week over 20 weeks. I'm sorry. That's $2,000. But, make it up to me by getting me some hairspray. Maybe we could forgive her for that. But she cut you out of $8,000 at $400 a week since July to accept $300 starting today? What are you talking about? This makes no sense. It's just, I don't understand this. Then state and local. She wants to agree to, she has agreed, to $240 billion for state and local. Steve Mnuchin offered $240 billion for state and local after I urged him to offer $200 for state and local. And she said no. She said no because she didn't like the language. And then when President Donald Trump lost his reelection, now she likes it. See I'm seeing a trend here. Then any money for the crushing the virus? No, there's no money for crushing the virus. So I guess we don't crush the virus. We crush the orange juice for free. No, there's no money for orange juice either. And then there's some money for PPP, $300 billion for PPP. So all the restaurants get their money again. I'm just so happy restaurants keep on getting money every single darn time. They have had no less than 4 PPP rounds, and there's $800 billion of PPP sitting in CARES Act 1. There go the hand gestures, $800 billion sitting in the SBA of CARES Act 1 money that Nancy Pelosi does not want to repurpose as your stimulus check, but should be happy to send out $300 billion more of PPP. I just don't. Now, this is crazy when I'm talking about Susan Collins or Mitt Romney introducing it because, it's their level crazy. But it's really wacko crazy when the person who said she would never do this and ultimately held up your stimulus check, Steve Mnuchin offered you a $2,000 stimulus check. She turned it down because of all this. She turned down your stimulus check because of all this. Now wants to agree to this, which is actually worse than what Steve Mnuchin offered, and still not give you a stimulus check. I can't fathom that I'm even making this recording. So here, what is my take out of all this? My take out of all this is, first of all, never throw away your notes from the day before, despite how bad the bill is, because ultimately Nancy Pelosi may support it. That's the first note I'm making for myself. My second note for myself is that really I do believe that she should get the message out loud and clear. Shut down the federal government. Shut it down. Shut it down. Don't approve the CR. You want to be so stupid. There's no other word for it. It's stupid. You want to be so stupid and not agree to the CR with the deal provisions you rejected in July that would have given us $8,000 retroactively, and now we don't get them retroactively, and turn down the things that would have given us a stimulus check, rent eviction moratorium, and not even give us those now. Because why? You wanted to get the president out of office, and now you want to get Mitch out as Speaker of the House. you know, it's just, do you think no one sees that's what you're doing? It's really, as a host, my job is not to look angry on camera, and I'm trying my best right now. So with that, subscribe, and like this video, and like me, because I did not lose my cool in this video, because trust me, I really wanted to. As always, coming up next is Evenings at LALATE and Purple. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.